In the movie, we can see that James Bond and his enemy are fighting on a very steep mountain that is very dangerous for both of them. They clearly make a decision whether to attack or not to attack in only a fraction of a second. Even though this may seem unrelated to economics, if we look at the scene closely, we can see how game theory is actually involved in it. Let us now study their decisions and see whether their decision follows what theory suggests and see what the reason is behind their decision in each case. There are 4 cases there that we will look at. Here are 2 parties, Bond and his enemy, and the actions are when neither of them attacks, when Bond attacks and the enemy doesn't, when enemy attacks and Bond doesn't, and when both of them attack. Let's go through the decisions case by case. Firstly, we are in the box when neither of them attacks. If neither of them attacks, neither will die. Both could climb the mountain and survive, but they won't gain anything either, like winning over the opponent. Therefore, they get 0 payoffs. Second box is when Bond attacks and the enemy doesn't. If Bond attacks and the enemy doesn't attack, Bond will eventually be able to kill his enemy. Therefore, Bond wins and he gets 5, and the enemy dies and gets -infinity. Third box is when enemy attacks and Bond doesn't. Just like in the previous case, the enemy will be able to kill Bond. Therefore, the enemy achieves what he wanted and gets 5, and Bond will get -infinity since he dies. And finally, the fourth box is when they both attack. If they both attack, they both risk their lives, so they get negative payoffs. However, since they both have a slight chance to win the fight and survive, they won't get -infinity. Also, since Bond is in a worse position, he has less chance to win, therefore he gets -20. The enemy who is in a better position has higher chance and gets -10. So now let's see what action each opponent will take. Let's assume that enemy doesn't attack. Bond has 2 options, not to attack and to attack, 0 and 5. So Bond has 2 options, 0 and 5. Clearly Bond chooses the best payoff, which is 5, which is to attack. And now, what if the enemy attacks? In this case, Bond again has 2 options. When enemy attacks, Bond has not to attack and attack. And he has -infinity and -20. So he will choose the worst payoff, which is -20. So he again attacks. We can see that regardless of what the enemy does, Bond decides to attack. Therefore, Bond's dominant strategy is to attack. Now let's look at the enemy. Suppose Bond doesn't attack. The enemy will choose 5 over 0, which is to attack. If Bond doesn't attack, the enemy will choose -10 over -infinity, which is to attack. So, as we can see, the enemy's dominant strategy is therefore to attack as well. So, the dominant strategy equilibrium is to attack for both of them. And furthermore, this is the only square from which neither of the opponents will gain more payoff by moving out. Therefore, this square is our Nash equilibrium. This is what we see that happens in the movie. They both follow the Nash equilibrium without thinking of the payoff matrix. They both would certainly have higher payoffs if neither attacked, as they would get 0-0 instead of -20 and -10. However, as both of them think that their opponent may cheat, they won't risk their lives. they won't risk to get minus infinity. So they both choose to attack. This is why they both attack in the movie.